And if you guys can do me a super huge favor, and as you jump on, if you guys can just make sure that you're muted, but really quickly, where are you guys from? Is this your first team call? Kind of give us just a little bit of a backstory, just so we can say hi. Tell me something exciting that is going on. Who started Bar Blend today? Anybody start Bar Blend today? I did my first workout, pretty sure my bum is going to be so sore later that I'm not going to be able to sleep comfortably without some Tylenol. But it was good. It was good. It was a good change of pace coming from the work to that was like totally different, but I think in a great way. So you guys, we've got a good call plan. We're going to dive right in and get started. It is being recorded. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And today, myself and Katie and Megan, we decided we were going to tag team our new team calls. We're doing them every Monday at 12 noon. So this is a new change. This is going to be a consistent change throughout the year. Actually all three of us said that, our kids are getting a little bit older and our kids are involved in evening activities. It's becoming harder for us to do those 9 o'clock calls. And to be quite honest, we're just not as fresh as we would like to be at 9 o'clock at night. So I didn't feel like I was giving my best when we were doing our 9 o'clock calls. So we made the decision to start doing them during the day. And we know that some people won't be able to listen. They'll have to catch the replay, and we understand that, but we feel like this is how we can serve you best. So here we are. And so this week we're going to talk about, last week we did our vision and our goal setting. And so this week we're going to take that vision board and we're really going to start breaking it down into setting goals, but then how do we actually manage it all? All right. So I hope that that's a topic that is lighting you up on fire because it's so important. How many of you last week or within the last 2 weeks have sat down and actually created a vision board? Raise your hand, comment, vision board done. I hope that it's sitting in front of you right now. I hope that you're working on it because if we don't know where, good. I see a yes. I see another yes. Good, good. It's so important. Mine is sitting on my desk right now too, and I keep adding to it and drawing on it, writing more things as I go through the past couple of weeks. So I hope you guys have yours done. So what we're going to talk about before we dive into today, I just want to do a few announcements and then I'm going to walk you through kind of the first part. All right. Okay. So friends, number one, Bar Blend is up. It is live in the Beachbody On Demand catalog. You can purchase it. Anybody can buy Bar Blend that has a Beachbody On Demand membership, or you can sign up for one. Please know that our Bar Blend challenge packs are $20 off. Also, the work and that 4 weeks of prep before the work is also available, and those challenge packs are $20 off as well. So wanted to make sure that everybody knew that. There were definitely some questions about that. And there is a Bar Blend challenge group guide that you can find if you go into Grow My Business in the Coach Online office, and it's under the Grow My Business tab and challenge group guides, okay? Also, in the month of January, it is double trip dollars. So if you're listening to this call right now and you are saying, man, I would really love to be able to go to one of those Success Club trips that I see everybody taking. Well, let's start right now at earning Success Club points, because for every Success Club point you earn, it is trip dollars. And in January, they're doubling trip dollars, which means you can pay off your trip faster. If you go into the Coach Online office and you click the Coach Breaking News, you can actually see the FAQ that explains the Success Club trip. So go check that out, all right? And then also today, the Monthly Fix and the Monthly Mindset memberships have launched, and there's also a standalone program option which allows you to purchase that as an upgrade. To me, I feel like if you're somebody or your customers are people that want a deeper dive into nutrition or want extra education or accountability or meal plans and recipes, and you want to hear right from Alana or Autumn, and that's something you really want to invest in, that Monthly Mindset membership would be important. And Katie just dropped in the comments that it is free for 30 days, so you can actually try it out for 30 days too. So that's another great perk. That's something you could pop into your challenge groups, let them know about if it's an add-on that they would like to try, okay? All right, also, there are some new Success Starter qualifications. So if you are a new coach or you signed up in any time in the last 6 months, if you achieve Success Club for 3 consecutive months, right? Within the first 6 months that you are a coach. I'm going to actually take that back and say that again. Okay. So within the first 6 months that you sign up as a coach, if you achieve Success Club in any 3 months, you are going to earn a Success Starter, like free Coach Summit ticket, but you also are going to earn an exclusive pilot test group spot, which means, for example, if we're getting ready to launch a new program and you're a Success Starter, you're going to get a spot in that test group, which means you get to do a program before it's launched. That to me would be enough for me to hit Success Club, because you want to be, you know, a leg up on the program. You want to get results before everybody. It really helps you to grow your business too. Okay. And then Success Super Weekend is coming this upcoming weekend. Us here in Pittsburgh are throwing a big event with, would love to see you if you can make it in for the weekend. We're doing a training on Saturday, and then Amwala Caesar is doing a workout on Sunday. So we would love to have you guys there. If you can't make it to Pittsburgh, please, please, please go to an event, connect with people in like face to face. There's something about human connection that strengthens our relationships and really helps us to just be a part of a community and to feel the vibe and the energy that Beachbody coaching brings. All right. So get to an event, even if you go by yourself. I went to my first one by myself. All right. So let's dive in. 3 things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about SMART goals. We're going to talk about application, and we're going to talk about your time and priorities. All right. So I'm going to kick us off with SMART goals, and then I'm going to turn it over to Megan for that application. And then we're going to go through priorities with Katie. And then if we have some time, we'll answer some questions at the end. So let's dive in. So I want to talk about this concept of SMART goals, because so often we create these vision boards for our business, right? So let me just ask you a candid question right now. How many of you created a vision board and you put all these things on your vision board, but you haven't actually thought about how you're going to get there? Or maybe you're completely overwhelmed and you're thinking to yourself, I have absolutely no idea how I'm ever going to become a 1-star diamond coach, right? I have no idea how I'm going to earn that ticket to the Success Club trip. I have no idea how I'm going to become a 5-star elite or start making, you know, $1,000 a week. And so what we have to do is we have to take that vision, those things that we put on our goal board, and we have to be able to break them down. And the first step in that process is being able to break it down in such a way that it makes sense. And so SMART goals basically means that your goals are set up in such a way that you are, and S stands for specific, your M stands for measurable, your A stands for attainable, and I'm going to go through these in more detail. Your R is realistic, and your T is timely. And so we're going to go through this activity today, and you're going to have an assignment at the end. And I'm going to ask that everybody shares this assignment in the team page or in your personally sponsored page with your team. All right? Because I want to make sure that you are accountable to the things you say that you're going to do, and you're writing your goals in a way that really do make sense. So the first one is S. So S basically means specific. Your goal must be clear. So this is what you want to do. Ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish? But you also have to know why. Why do I want to accomplish this goal? What is the specific reason, the purpose, and the benefits of accomplishing a goal? So if you say to yourself, I want to make $30,000 in 2020 as a Beachbody coach, you have to be able to say why that matters to you. And it has to be something deeper and more important than just, I just want to make some money. Does that make sense? All right. So you have to say to yourself, and specific means your goal is so clear that if I read it, I can immediately envision how it's going to happen. So it's not like I want to make more money in 2020. It is, I want to make a specific amount of money, or I want to be a specific coach by a specific date. Does that make sense? So then also you have to say, well, who is involved? Is there a specific location? And then you have to identify the requirements and constraints. So this S, this means maybe you need to ask some questions. What is involved in getting to that goal? All right. Do I know what it means? You know, so this is really where you're going to ask yourself, if I read this goal to myself, do I know exactly how I'm going to get there? The second one is measurable. So your goal must be measurable. Just think about it with our children in school. all like kids that have an IEP, when you're writing IEP goals, right? The goal has to be measurable. We don't get funding from the state unless we can collect data to prove that the child is or is not making progress towards the goal. It is the same thing with your Beachbody goals, with your health and fitness goals. We always want our customers, we always want to ourselves be making sure that we're saying, is my goal measurable? So for example, I want to lose 5 pounds on my health and fitness journey is somewhat measurable, but it's not specific enough. I want to lose 5 pounds in the next 30 days doing bar blend and following the 2B mindset nutrition. That is specific and measurable. All right. So very, very specific. The next one is attainable. The goal must be something you can actually accomplish in the time frame that you specify, and it can be done realistically. So when we look at that goal, let's say this is not a SMART goal. I want to lose 50 pounds in 30 days doing bar blend and 2B mindset. That is not attainable, okay? It is not even realistic. That is not something that you could accomplish in that specific time frame. So you do have to be able to say to yourself, okay, is the goal I'm setting for myself, is it actually attainable? I'll give you one more example. I have a coach, and we were talking about, she was sending me her goals, and she said, I want to make this amount of money, and I want to be this rank in the company by the end of 2020. And then she sent me a list of the activities, and she sent me the time she was going to be building her business. And for the goal to be, for example, 5-star elite, she was going to work an hour a day. And I said to her, I don't necessarily think that that's attainable, because I don't think realistically you can only work an hour a day and build the kind of business that you're expecting to build. So I think we need to talk about this a little bit more. And so that conversation, because she shared the goal with me, we were able to get a little more clarity on whether or not that goal was attainable within that time frame. So she either had to devote more time to the business or change the end result goal that she wanted to accomplish. All right. Okay. Relevant. The goal has to matter to you in your life. You don't want to reach the goal, accomplish the goal, and say, that was good, but it didn't impact my life in the way that I wanted it to, right? We want the goal to have impact. So ask yourself, does the goal, is it worthwhile? Is it going to make a positive impact on my own life? And is this the right time to pursue it? So let me give you just something to think about here. When you say, I want to be, and I'm going to give the example of 5-star diamond elite at the end of 2020, ask yourself, what does that goal mean to me? Okay. And then actually visualize the goal happening. All right. Visualize. And if you're looking for income and you say, this is going to make me make enough money to actually leave my full-time job, then you also have to say, what kind of money am I expecting to have in my bank account at the end of 2020? If I make that money, or if you're saying to yourself, I'm expecting to make this kind of money, I think that being 5-star elite is going to make me feel worthy. It's going to make me feel validated. It's going to make other people respect me. What happens if you get to the end of 2020 and the people that you thought would respect you because you reached a goal don't? Is that going to change whether or not you push for the goal or not? So I want you to really think through it. Does 5-star diamond equal the amount of money in your mind that you think it's going to equal? So this relevancy, I want you to dig deep and actually ask these questions. Am I putting this goal on my vision board because of something inside of me, or because of some external factor that I'm trying to control? And if I get to the end of the year, how do I want to feel? How do I want my life to look? I think that's an important question to ask, because when you have this conversation with your upline or your mentor or your success partner or somebody else that has done what you wanted to do, I think it's important that you have a clear expectation and understanding of why you're working towards the goal and how it has relevancy in your life. And if you say to yourself, I just want to check it off the box, I want to walk across stage, I need that validation, then we're all for it. We're going to support you. We're going to help you get there. But if you're saying, I want to earn this money because it's going to help me be able to take my family on a family vacation that I couldn't or have earned otherwise, it wouldn't just naturally happen because of my full-time job. It would have to happen because at Beachbody that, you know, we're going to help you to get there too. So whatever the relevancy is, we want to make sure that it's crystal clear, it's very defined, and there's not a gray area. Okay. All right. Hope that made sense. And then T is time bound. So you absolutely have to set goals that have some sort of time and date that you're shooting for. Okay. A date that you're going to accomplish it by. But here's the thing. If you don't get there by that date, you're not going to die. It's not the end of the world, okay? Nobody's coming to your house and taking your children away because you didn't reach a goal by the exact date that you said that you were going to do. But if you don't put a date on something, then there's no sense of urgency, all right? So, and I want you to challenge yourself a little bit. I know some of you are sitting here right now and you're an Emerald coach and you're like, I want to be Diamond by December, 31st of 2020. Listen, that is not a timely goal. You should be Diamond in the next 90 days. That should not be something that takes you 12 months to accomplish, all right? So I want to make sure that you're putting a deadline that challenges you. Not a deadline that completely stresses you out and makes you shut down, but a deadline that's time-bound that gives you a sense of urgency, that makes you move a little bit faster, that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable and gives you some butterflies, because that's what a good goal does. It challenges your limit and makes you level up a little bit more. All right, so create that sense of urgency for yourself. All right, so now we've gone over, did I just copy that twice? I sure did. All right, we're gonna move on. So now I have actually created these a couple of years ago. I made these sheets, these goal setting sheets, and I have them in a PDF. I'm gonna drop them in the team pages. I'll send them to Nora and she can get those out to you guys too. But this is how I would encourage you guys to break down your goals. Take your vision board, look at your vision board and say, okay, what are the 3 to 5 things that I want to accomplish in the year? And honestly, just pick 3. 3 would be great, right? And then I want you to take the big goal and I want you to write it out in a way that is smart. So you're going to go back to these slides and you're going to say, is it specific? Is it measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely? And you're going to write down the goal, okay? Then on the next sheet of paper, you're going to create a list of ways that you are going to get to this goal. So if it is, for example, and I don't want to go into Megan's, is this what you're going to do? Should I stop? Okay, so I'm going to stop there. So I'm going to turn it over to Megan and she's going to actually tell you how to break this down and go a little more in depth with that. Does that make sense? Okay. Are you on here? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't pull them up. So if you just want to go to the next slide,
okay. Sounds good.
All right. So I am someone who thrives on seeing an example. So it's one of those, like, I can hear it, but I need to see it. So what I did is I went back and pulled my 2015 vision board that I made back as a 1-star coach. I'd been coaching for about 8 months at the time. And I got together with my coach and a couple of her other coaches in our downline. And we got together and we wrote it all out. And we didn't just write it all out before we got started. I remember sitting there talking to her, like sharing exactly what we're going through this process now. What do you I want a 5-star Diamond Elite. I love that Mel used that example already a couple times because that's exactly what this one here was centered around. And we went through like, okay, well, what's it gonna take? You get there. And I wanted to share this with you guys so you can see how it all interrelates to one another, because saying 5-star Diamond Elite isn't going to mean much unless you know what you're going to do when you get there and how it's going to make you feel and who you're going to celebrate with and what you're going to do with the income that you're generating from this team that you're building. So what you can see here are some of the things that I laid out. So it's thinking about what are you going to do to get there, and then what do you have to do daily, and it goes along with the whole attainability aspect of it. So in the very center, you'll see SC All-Star 10. So I knew that hitting Success Club 5 wasn't going to be enough for me to build this 5-star diamond team that I was setting out to achieve by the end of the year. I needed to at least be bringing in, like, hitting 5 people every month. So that was kind of one of my centerpieces to be able to get to the 5-star diamond. If you look on the left-hand side, you'll see that number 2, and it says 2 new coaches, 2 coach rank advancements. So I knew that I didn't only need to be bringing in new coaches, I needed to be helping the people who already joined me rank advanced. I needed to get new coaches to emerald. I needed to get emeralds to diamond. I needed to know that some people who are going to go from coach to emerald are going to quit. Some people are going to go from emerald to diamond are going to quit. So it wasn't just do it, it was do it consistently each and every month. So that was what the number 2 meant there. You can see in the very top left corner, it's kind of cut off, but it says I wanted to match my prior audit manager's salary. So this can be anything for you, but to me, this was actually setting the number out there. What was the number that I was shooting for? So to me, it was the career I had before I left to become a mom. The amount of money that I was making there, I wanted to be able to match that. And that came from me wanting to be able to tell other people that this job that people thought I was silly for leaving behind a career that was, from the outside looking in super successful, I left a career to be a mom. And I found a way to still build a career and be mom at the same time. So this was an emotional connection to me. This allowed me to say what I was doing, working 60, 70 hours a week, I matched that from an income standpoint, working from home with my babies. So that goal was there, and it was going to be tied in because by building a team, I knew that I could get there. I couldn't get there based off of retail. I couldn't get there, retailing and, maybe as a 1 or 2 star coach. I needed to build a team of working coaches. And that was what that part there meant. I also have on here one-on-one kiddo time. For me, I was at home with my kids at the time. When I made this board, I had a 1.5-year-old and a 3-year-old. So to me, one-on-one kiddo time was really important because it's something I didn't really have the first time around with my daughter. And I knew that that was going to require me to have a babysitter. I needed a babysitter and I needed to have money to pay a babysitter. So one of the things that really mattered to me was being able to have somebody come in and watch one of my kids, to take my daughter to the zoo, I still have the picture here of our, the little, I would do the slideshows where you take 3 silly pictures. It's still in my office. So I remember the day I got to take her to the zoo, just the 2 of us, when she was 3 years old. And it was one of my favorite days. I needed to build a business that allowed me to do those little things. That was another emotional connection thing. One of the things that's kind of cut off, this is poor planning on my part, but I talk about Instagram down here. One of my things, my focus after I started, really getting serious about coaching was building my Instagram. I wanted to get to 10,000 followers so I could have the swipe up. What was the swipe up going to do? Swipe up was going to allow me to connect my people that were following me to my blog, or connect them to, other links that I could refer them to. And that was a measurable thing, not just to say I have an Instagram account that has 10,000 followers, but it had a meaning behind it. I also have date nights on here. This again ties into the income side. Whenever you don't have extra money, you're probably not going on date nights. So I wanted to be able to build this business in a way that gave me freedom to pay a babysitter, to watch my kids, to have the money to go on date nights with my husband. So he knew when I was spending, 6, 7 days a week in this office in front of the computer from the time the kids went to bed well into the evening, that there was something that he was going to get in return. I have made that a focus since the day I started coaching, keeping him on the same page that I'm on, and also letting him know that it's not just for me. It's not just that I want to build this business. It is for us together. And that's always been something I've valued and strengthened our marriage. So the date night piece, that was on there, all tied in together. By building a 5-star diamond team, I was going to have the income level that was going to give me freedom to have a babysitter, to give me special time with my kids, date nights with my husband. And also the 2 up top, the other 2 that was up top, that was help 2 other coaches earn $1,000 a month. If I'm helping them earn $1,000 a month, that's going to trickle up to me reaching my goals. If they're earning $1,000 a month, they're probably a diamond. And if they're a diamond, that's one of the 5-star diamonds. Does that all make sense? It's all interrelated and all together. So getting to this point, you can't just, like Mal was talking about with all, setting each aspect of the SMART goals, you can't just say 5-star diamond and then not have everything else align with it. What are you going to do to get there? And then I have way more in-depth things that I've written out after this. So I don't have the papers, but after I made this goal board, then it came down to, well, how am I going to get there? Because at the time, we didn't have the extra income to start the date nights. So in the beginning, before we got to the point that we could leverage these and these goals were actually reality, our date nights were 1 night a week. I wasn't going to work and we were going to sit on the couch and watch a free movie on demand. It was still date night, It still helped me reach this goal. It may not have been in the dream aspect that I wanted it to be, but it was something that was getting me one step closer. And if the first month I didn't have 2 new coaches at Rank Advanced and I only recruited 1 coach, I didn't stop there. I realized I just have to try again. So now maybe in February, when I didn't match it in January, now my goal isn't to recruit 2, I'm going to try to recruit 3. And I'm not going to try to get 2 new coach rank advancements. Now my focus is 3 because I missed it the month before. Having the goal and the plan laid out was huge. This board sat in front of me when I worked all of 2015. Even more so when I got this back out, as we were talking about this, my daughter sat down and looked at it. And she was asking me about what these things mean. And she said, I remember when you ran that marathon relay on May 3rd, 2015. She remembers cheering me on. And I talked to her about all these things. And I cannot express, if you have children old enough to understand what you're doing, involve them with this. Because as I got this out in my current board sitting on the floor, and we've been talking about it with our kids, but I've gone through the 15 board and the 16 board and the 18 board and the boards that are through my office and letting her know, and my son's not interested, but my daughter is, letting her know exactly why I'm doing what I do. And if your own accountability from your inner drive or your coach isn't enough, tell your kids, because they will not let you forget what you said you were going to do, why you're going to do it, and how you're going to get there. So if you want to go to the next slide. This one will just show you, this was the board I made the following year. So some things happened on that 2015, some didn't. So I reevaluated, and I know you can't really read the details on here, but the point was, I want you to understand getting everybody on the same page. Like I said, my kids now are old enough where they can understand why I'm in the office, why I'm working hard, what I'm working towards, what's in it for them, and what's in it for me. Like I actually told them one of the things, we're going to New York City. And I told my daughter I was booking the hotel, and she goes, am I going? I'm like, no, honey, this one's not for you. But if you look on my 2020 vision board, you're going to see New York's on there twice, because I'll take you and that'll happen later. But this one's for me. And she was like, okay. Like they need to understand. And if it's not your child, I hope it's your spouse or your significant other that's understanding whatever you're doing and working towards, that you're all on the same page. There's a season of hustle and there's a season of grace. If you just had a baby, chances are you're not hustling, you're surviving. You're worried about feeding a baby and changing a diaper and maybe squeezing in a few hours of sleep. That's not your season to hustle. You've got other things that are taken care of. There's seasons where you can really push. There's seasons when I first made that 2015 board that I didn't stop for anything. Now I've learned in time to recognize the signs of my body and know when I need to grace myself and know when I need to get a little bit more rest. But I set these goals and I knew, and was it maybe a Craig Holiday thing? But there was a quote that said, some people are willing to work. It's like I don't know how to write it down, but it's like you can work really hard for 3 or 4 years to have the rest of your life, or you spend your whole life working, and I'm not saying the quote right, but like or you can spend your whole life working for a job or working for a person that doesn't bring you any joy. And I knew that, like I knew in those beginning days that I could spend those first couple years really hustling, that it would pay off in the long run. So when I sat down to make my 2016 board, things realigned a little bit. I adjusted things. Yes, I had some things that were still really big and really focus point, and some things that had to change. As I shared this with my kids, my daughter looked up on there. It's so hard to see because it's little, but in the middle one, I had 3 things, and it was a lake house, a pool, and Bora Bora. My daughter, so this was 2016. We put a pool in our house in 2018, and then we went to Bora Bora last year for my 10-year anniversary. So my daughter says, oh my gosh, are we getting a lake house? I was like, no, honey, take a step back. Look at this. I wrote this in 2016. None of that happened in 16, and none of it happened in 2017, but they were my drivers. Those were the big things that I was working towards. So then we did do the pool and we did do the Bora Bora. I got to look at this board and realize these were the things that helped drive me. Some things are super measurable. Maybe one of your goals is to buy, I don't know, a new pair of tennis shoes for your workout, to buy a bar, to do bar blend. Those little things that you can work towards and achieve and check off, I think are huge, to be able to be like, I did it. I've done it. I set the goal. I achieved it. but don't be afraid to put really big things on there, and know that it doesn't have to happen immediately. These are still goals and dreams. They don't have that exact timetable, time frame, but they're things that drive me, and they're things that motivate me. And find what it is that's going to motivate you. And if you put it on your 16 board and it takes you 4, 5, or 10 years to achieve, that's okay. Bora Bora showed up on this board, and then on the following year, I made another one and said by 2021, and it happened in 2019. You never know what is going to happen, but if you aren't willing to at least dream it and think about it and put it in there, then you're never going to know what you're working towards. And if you want to go just to the next one, this was the one that I made in 2018. So it was another, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to realign what needs to happen. And in this one, my focus was a happy, healthy family. Had changed things around. I wasn't hustling the same season that I was hustling in the years before. I got a little bit more narrowed in on what I was working towards, but some things still show up. You still see Elite on the board as it was in 15 and 16 and 18, and it's on my 2021. Some things change, some things get realigned, but it's always a matter of what am I working towards, and I know what it is. Take the time, if you haven't already, to make a board. You don't have to cut it out on paper. You can see mine are all different every single year, and this one looks a little bit different too. You can make it digital. It can be your backdrop on your computer, but make it and know what you're working towards. My whole focus for 2020 is to be intentional. The time I'm spending with the people I'm spending my time with, the time I'm spending what I'm doing with them, and really just focus and realize what you're going to focus on is going to grow. I know that it can be daunting when you see someone else's who's maybe further along in the business, like, oh my gosh, my board should have all these different things. Start where you're at. But then realize, like, I love doing my first board with other people. When I had other people's boards to look at, I remember putting my first board had 2-star diamond on it. And I remember someone else put 5-star. I was like, well, hell, I better level up. But it did drive me and push me to think about what, like, if you have someone, whether it's, you know, you're going to do a Zoom call with them to make it, or you're just going to share back and forth, dream big and dream bigger, and know that business truly can happen if you're willing to actually sit down and do it. And be intentional. That's my last thing. You just have to be intentional with your time. I know we're all limited. I know everyone's at kind of different points in the business, but what you focus on is really going to grow. And I'm excited to see, I know Mel wants you guys to share the forms once you fill them out. Share yours and read other people's, and go back and reevaluate what you shared on yours. Katie, you're up, girl.
Perfect. Okay, I actually need either you or Mel to allow me to share my screen. So if you guys can do that for me really quickly, that would be so helpful. You should be good now. See if it works. I got it. All right, we are good. I'm going to put this in presentation mode. Can you guys see my screen? Good? Okay, perfect. All right, you guys, so I am going to talk for a couple of minutes just about, am I being realistic about the goals I am setting for myself? And maybe you're like me, you're like, I don't know, I am catching the recording right now, or I don't have a lot of time to actually build my business. I am here to tell you that when I started my business, I was a full-time teacher. And so when I started, I didn't have a lot of time to devote to the business. And I'll dive a little bit more into that. But I'm here to tell you that it is incredibly realistic for you to be very successful in the business, even if you do not have a lot of time to allot to it. So let's talk about things to consider if you work full-time, or even if you just can commit part-time to your business. So right now I am speaking to the people who aren't working Beachbody 30, 40 hours a week. I'm speaking to the people who really have maybe 10, 15, 20 hours a week to commit. So I want you to start asking yourself a couple of questions. Number one, what am I working towards? So Melanie did an excellent job of talking about what SMART goals are. And the one thing that I really want to lean into is being realistic with ourselves. So, you know, she talked about mentoring a coach and the coach said that she wanted to be a five-star elite coach, but she didn't necessarily have that much time to devote to the business. And so the very first thing I want you to ask yourself is, am I really setting realistic goals for myself that aren't going to make me resentful? They aren't going to make me really drop everything else in my life that is a priority. What is that going to look like? And is it really within reach? Am I being realistic with myself? I ask everybody to think of that mile marker mindset. And for me, that's all about the small wins. And I did a live training this morning with my challengers, and I talked about how small wins are like instant hits of dopamine. And it basically says when I get that small win, it's just enough motivation for me to keep moving forward. So when we're setting these high goals for ourselves that are in December, or maybe we're like, I'm gonna go Emerald and it's gonna take me 12 months to get there, we're depriving ourselves of hits of dopamine. And we wanna be able to have those hits so that they build our motivation to keep moving forward. The other thing that I wanna consider is, does this goal actually align to the things that I also have in my life as a priority? I'll walk you through a little strategy I have for that. Am I willing to make certain sacrifices somewhere else to say yes to Beachbody? Let's be honest, every time that we say yes to something, we're actually saying no to something else that might be on our list. It's like Katie in the PTA. Every time I try to say yes to the PTA, it ends up being, oh, hell no, because nobody wants me in that, including myself. I'm just not that good at it. So where are we willing to make certain sacrifices so that we can say yes to our Beachbody business? All right, so first things first. And this is where action has to take place. And I know that we're busy people, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you can only be successful if you have 40 hours a week to devote to this business. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm going to tell you that the most successful people in this business are the ones that are intentional with the time that they do have to devote to the business. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to set that schedule for ourselves. And here's the deal, like a gymnast, Carrie Shrug style, we're gonna stick to it. We're gonna stick that landing when it comes to actually scheduling it out and making it happen. So what does that look like? Well, I'll tell you honestly, for me, it's sitting down, hi Ty, on Sunday, and mine is about a 2-hour Sunday planning period. And I know that might sound like a lot to you, but I swear to you, it makes everything else in my week really, really flow. So I prioritize a couple things. The very first thing that I do is I prioritize my month, and then I go back and I prioritize my week, and then I take it a step further and I prioritize my day. But here is the real kicker. I prioritize my joy first. So I'm going to give you this example. Melanie and I did this awesome training with a bunch of local entrepreneurs in November, and we were standing there and I was talking about how I had this clear, crystal clear picture of what I wanted my Christmas to look like. And so the very first thing that I did was I jotted down tradition, I jotted down the things I knew I wanted to do, from going to my kids' classrooms, and then the other one was a field trip that I had with Dom, and then my pop-off comes out for the holidays, he travels out, and so I wanted to spend time with him, and I wanted to make cookies, and we have this tradition of cooking and prepping certain things ahead of time, and so I had all of these things to do. And the very first thing that I did was I planned out those things because they mattered the most to me. So in your month, what are the things, business or not, that are non-negotiables for you? The things that matter the most. Is it going into the classroom on Fridays? Or is it your work schedule? You know it's Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. What are the things that you want to set in stone? Is it a girls' night where you're going out and just celebrating the new year? Is it maybe taking a new exercise class to enrich your Beachbody On Demand experience? Is it having a date night? Schedule those things first, because it keeps you happy. It's like, again, those hits of dopamine. You're excited about the joy that you have planned out for yourself, all right? So put that joy in there, and then take your schedule for Beachbody and say, all right, when am I going to work my business? So I know that I am so excited because I get to meet Joya. So if you don't know who Joya is, Taylor Moliterno just had her baby girl, and I'm going out in January at the end of the month to meet her, and I am so excited. So you can bet that those 3 days are off limits to everything else. I'm going to snuggle that baby. I'm going to kiss on that baby. I'm going to tell her not to be so paranoid about all of the things, because I have the kids already, and I know that there are certain things you don't need to worry about. So I cannot wait. I prioritize that. But then as I look at my entire week, I say, if I know that I am going to be gone for those 3 days, when am I going to do the things that need to be done for my business? I also ask myself, what does done actually look like? And I'm so sorry that my dog is barking. He's like having a little hissy fit, and I don't really know why. Tyler. Okay. So what does done look like to you in your business? Do you know what you want to do in a month? Do you know what you want to achieve? Do you know what you want to accomplish for that month? When I started as a coach, what done looked like to me was getting the groceries paid for. I knew when I hit that goal of income-wise, being able to provide for my family, I had that hit of dopamine where I could say, check, I've got this. So I make sure I know what it means to be done, not just in terms of meeting the goal, but also what my workday activities look like when they are done. So here are a list of my to-do activities, especially when I started. So as you're going through this, you might be saying, I have all day to work my business. But guys, it doesn't even need to take you all day. The beauty of Beachbody, when it started, was really that you can create a successful 5-6 figure income yearly doing this in small amounts of time. So for me, what does that look like? Well, number one, the most important thing that is a to-do is working on me. I'm not an effective coach if I am not really using and understanding and being a product of the product. So that means I'm working out. That means I'm meal planning. That means I'm using the tracker system to share with my challengers, to share with other people. Number two, it is content. What is the message that I want to convey to my followers? And what am I marketing? And so I know that part of my day is about creating relevant content for people to connect to. Number three, and I don't know, heavens to Betsy, why this isn't shared more, but this is like a huge one. And that is customer service. It is not all about like just bringing in more people, bring the people in, or like put your hands up and say, come to me, mama, this is what it's gonna be. You have people probably who believe in you, who've invested in you, who want more of what you have to offer. So one of my biggest goals is making sure my people are very well served in our challenge groups, through my weekly emails, through my meal plans, through just those little messages or thank you notes, and just telling them that I'm there, that I'm rooting for them, because then they become lifers. They become people who truly do believe that you are rooting for them, that you are in their corner. So I make sure that a big part of my to-do is making sure that my people are really well served. And then I go into those vitals. We can't forget about our invites, and I could do an entire call on this, but your invite is not your post. Your invite is your conversation with people. So let's make sure that we're having those conversations with people. We're following up with the people who said not right now, or that maybe we forgot to message back. I also make sure that I make time for training. So again, I'm speaking to the people who are maybe catching this recording. Make sure that you schedule time to listen in to these calls because they're gold. When I started my business, there was not a week that went by without missing that national wake-up call, without missing our team call, because I knew it was exactly what I needed to move forward. Making time to check in with my team, with my clients, personal developments, and events, because we all know what's just around the corner. Super Saturday. There is nothing like that atmosphere of live events to really help us get invigorated and excited for what is happening in our business. So let's talk time. Like, how much does this really take? So like I said, that hit of dopamine for me when I started my business was little wins. And so that was sales, whether they were challenge pack sales or it was just somebody bought a workout program. It wasn't even with Shakeology. I celebrated those things because I didn't set a huge goal of being elite. I didn't even know what elite was when I started. And I assure you there are people on this call who are like, what is she talking about? I didn't set big goals to be a six-figure earner. I was a teacher, guys. And as a teacher, I was excited when something like Student Council Mentor would open up because it meant that I was adding just a little bit extra to my paycheck. And so when I saw that Beachbody could provide a little bit extra, I was like big time, legit excited about it because that was my big goal. And it created a dopamine hit. It was just a little win. And so every time I would be able to go to that grocery store and pay for the groceries, I was doing this itty bitty little Katie happy dance because I provided for my family. I was really geeked about that. I was so excited. That was a small win. And guys, I didn't have a ton of time to invest in my business. We're talking 2, maybe up to 4 hours a day, and then some weekends. That's what got me to the point where I created a six-figure income. That's what got me to the point where I actually left my full-time teaching job. That's what got me to the point that I was able to pay for my medical bills while I battled stage 4 cancer. Those things happen in 2 to 4 hours a day. Say what? 2 to 4 hours a day. Listen, you can legit drop the mic on your business if you get super focused and intentional with the time that you do have. You don't need 40 to 60 hours a week to build it. Full disclosure, I also own another business. I don't now have 40 hours a week to devote to my business, and it grew last year. So I'm saying this with all the love in my heart. It's about getting intentional. And I think it was Mel, I think last week she did this really cute picture and she was like, oh, I'm like not looking to my left or my right, because that's what you need to do. Like, you have to stay super focused on what your small hits of dopamine are going to be so that you can get to that big goal that you set on your vision board. So we're getting super laser focused. This is what we're doing. And I swear to you, this is what I do. This is what I did then. This is like what I do now. Of course, it's a little bit more like structured now than it was, but this is really it. Number 1, I check in with my clients daily. They've invested in me, and I also know that they're return clients. Return clients means more income for me. It means referrals for me. It means happy people. It means people are seeing results. It's building my testimonial bank. Do not ever forget, your clients are going to be the foundation of your business. Get them results. You focus on them, not just on bringing more people in. Focus and serve the people you have now. Number 2, every Monday, I create some type of either live for my team or live for my challengers. And today I went live and I just shared a little bit of information about how we can look at like new intentions versus like diet and deprivation. And so we're looking at our mindset as we go into weight loss. I answer any outstanding messages on Instagram, on Facebook. I have one in Facebook that I need to get to that I didn't get to yet. And then I check my email. I do some IG stories, and then I create my morning post that's already been pre-written from the day before.
In the afternoon, I come back to my work. I check in with my team, with my clients. I send out follow-ups via email, or if I'm using my instant messenger, my DMs, or if I'm using my Facebook, I'll send them out that way. I also send out invites to those who check the stories. And then I end the day with prepping content. Now, you might mesh this up a little bit. It might look a little bit different, but this is for the most part what I do. And so I want to end with this, right? Listen, you guys all have exactly what you need to succeed in this business. But it comes down to, am I willing to get intentional with what I know this business can provide? Am I willing to be consistent? Am I willing to set those big goals, but focus on the mile markers instead of just the big vision of where I want to go? Mile markers mean we're taking action daily in our business. So here's what I want you to do. Identify what your business must be. So that is your vital behaviors, but it might be more to you. For me, a big piece of it is customer service. Every day I make sure that I'm continuing to build my pipeline of clients and happy customers because I am making sure that they are taken care of. But what are your business musts? What are the things that you know are constantly going to grow your business? I want you to prioritize your joy as you sit down and you write down, here are the things that I know I must do every day, but what are the things that I refuse to sacrifice? What are the things that I know matter too much to me to actually say and push aside? Just like I did with my holiday, I made sure that those were the priority. I scheduled my business around it. Make your weekly audit. I know that a big part of the content I create is based on what's worked well and what I already am receiving a lot of feedback about. And I know that every week I gut check myself. What are the things that I did really well, but also what are the things that I want to get just a little bit better at? And then I map out my activities. I know exactly what I need to be able to do, and so I do it. And the last piece of advice for you guys, show up. I am not going to sugarcoat it. I will be honest with you, it takes work, but it's not hard work. It's so much heart work. It takes a lot of hard work to show up every day consistently and serve people. It's a selfless thing to do consistently over time. But I can tell you that if you are willing to set big goals and then focus on your mile markers, this business will completely transform your entire life. So guys, show up consistently, not just because it's January or 2020 and you're trying to get clear on what you want. It's truly because you have the tools to be able to transform your life just one step at a time, okay? Melanie and Megan, that is all I have. Does anyone have any questions for me? I'm just gonna sit here in awkward silence.
I hate that part while you're waiting for people to type and I know. Is there any questions, you guys, about goal setting or time management or breaking things down that you really want any clarity on? Now is the time to ask. We've got about 7 minutes and then we cut you off. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh, we finished early. I'm so proud of us.
We did. We rocked it.
Cool.
I know.
And I love seeing UK coaches on here.
I know.
That's so awesome. Etta, that is something we would probably be covering in another call, just the specifics. What I would suggest you do is maybe go to YouTube and actually just look up a couple of those compensation videos. There's also a ton of resources in the Coach Online office too.
Yeah.
And same thing. Melanie, that's probably another call, like breaking it down.
Yeah, I mean, so here's where you start. I mean, do what Katie said about the videos, but you can go right into the Coach Online office, go to the FAQ. You can pull up the breakdown. We've got tons. I mean, do your research first, get the foundation, find what you can, and then go to your sponsor coach and say, I've researched this. These are the questions that I have that I can't find the answers to. And then we can provide the color to it, because I think that, you understanding what do I need to do to get there, what are the holes I need to fill is really the first step. All right. Mm-hmm. And then I was actually thinking we probably need to do a compensation plan video anyways, our training, and we can definitely do one on ranks. But in the meantime, don't wait on your goals. Go find the answers. FAQ has everything. The Coach Online Office has it. There's probably a training in one of our team pages for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, search what are the Beachbody ranks. This was fabulous. Where can I find the sheets on SMART goals are going to be going into all the team pages today. Those will be getting put out there probably as soon as our call is over. I am Coach Rank newbie and want to be 2-star qualified for the quarterly bonuses. What is realistic for that, but still a push? Honestly, Rachel, diamond in 90 days. So by the end of March, you should be diamond. Once you get to diamond, then we're going to work on the next 90 days to 1-star, right? Mm-hmm. So when I started my business, somebody had once said to me, you should be rank advancing every 90 days. And that stuck with me. And I didn't always stick to that to the T, but that was like my meter, my mile marker, right? I was working towards that. So that created this constant sense of urgency to get people in, get people started, make sure I was filling that pipeline.
Yeah. And Melanie will often refer to it as like work backwards towards your goals. That's the same thing as saying mile markers. So if you are a new coach and you're like, I want to go diamond, you know, that's 8 coaches. Well, that's 3 months. So on average, what would that look like weekly, monthly, and so forth? Yeah. So that's just kind of like a little gauge. There's a little bit more to it than that, but it's the same idea. Any goal that you have to set smaller, more attainable goals to be able to get to that big goal.
And yes, in a 2 to 4 hour work day, you can achieve diamond in 90 days. Absolutely. Yeah. Because here's the thing, you have to really look at your daily activities and say, if my goal is to get to diamond, then I know I need to have 8 active coaches and an emerald on each side. So what would you be doing? You would be inviting people to sign up as coaches. You would be following up. You would be, right? So you would be doing activities within those 2 to 4 hours that every day are getting you closer to that goal. You would be at least signing 1 new coach every single week. All right. Mm-hmm. So within that 2 hour block, because when you make a list of your things to do, there's probably a lot of things on your to-do list that are not even related to any goals. They're very much management. They're very much like just kind of, I don't know, keeping a pulse on things. They're not creating new signups, new coaches, right? So we got to make sure we don't get stuck in doing mundane tasks that aren't related to the ultimate goal we're working towards.
Yeah, and just to go, Rachel, that was exactly what I did. I was actually emerald to diamond. I think it was 93 days. But it was within that 2 to 4 hour time block. You know, at the time it was early morning before the kids woke up, late at night after they went to bed. And it's totally possible. And then I think it was like I was 2-star within, I don't know, 7 months, I guess, after that. So definitely possible.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. All right. It's all about the intentionality. That's what it boils down to, right? It boils down to just being intentional with your time. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, this was recorded. I will get the recording uploaded. It will be out to you guys. Katie will give us the slides from hers. I have the slides from the first half. We'll put that together. We'll put all those files into the team pages for you guys. And if there is anything else that you guys need, don't hesitate to ask. We will see you back here next Monday at 12 noon. All right. Bye, guys.